Well, hello and welcome to Perfectly Twisted. It's Nicole Eggert here, and of course, my good friend Dave Palais.
Well, I guess we have a little bit of a belated happy birthday to you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
It must be very nice. I mean, I know for me, it's extremely nice when it's my birthday, and I have a lot of friends and family that I'm grateful for. But you have a lot of people because you and I, since we do the show, I get hooked into the same things, the messages that some of them you get. It's extremely nice that people from all over just say the nicest things of wishing you happy birthday. And I think most people are aware of, the year that you've had and grateful for another birthday.
Yes. Yeah, that's a fact. Yes, everybody's so kind with all the birthday love and wishes. It's always super touching. And yeah, another year. I'm still here. I'm still kicking. But we went to Big Bear. We got out of this
Nice.
terrible air for a while and went up where there's a little bit of snow and higher elevation and clean air. And some people were like, "Are you crazy? We're staying away from wooded areas with these fires." But I don't know. I felt safe and the winds had
Yeah.
calmed down and I just needed clean air. And I had my girls and I got a free lift ticket for
Okay.
any park. And so, those are $140.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so the girls went snowboarding, which was amazing. Um, and I didn't. Maybe next year, but I didn't have the
Okay.
I don't have the strength right now. And God forbid the recovery. Like it's just my body's not there yet. But talking about these fires, I wanted to say this. It's devastating and people don't have fire insurance and there's a lot of people giving and they're getting things, right? But they don't have anywhere to put them.
Yep.
So really what the victims need is money. Just straight up honest. So I want to offer I have a dear friend whose family member lost his home young. He left with the clothes on his back literally. He thought that he was going to be able to come back and he wasn't. So all our merchandise will 100% go directly straight to somebody affected who lost everything in this fire. We have our perfectly twisted mugs right here. They're $20. They'll be sent directly to you. All you have to do is email perfectlytwistedpod@gmail.com or go on our website. There is a link to the email and email us. I can send you pictures of our merchandise if you're not watching and you're only listening, and we can do it through that. You could also just do a cash donation. Nothing is too small. Seriously, there's no amount too small or too large in these situations. We also have the t-shirt.
Nice.
They're so good. Perfectly twisted on it. The logo, great t-shirt quality. I would never sell anything that I don't wear myself. It's really great and really cute. And then the sweatshirt, the t-shirt is $30 and the sweatshirt, the hoodie that I'm wearing is $40.
Okay.
So 20, 30, 40, or just, a couple bucks if you've got it to give to him.
Cool.
Yeah, it was wild. It's wild. It's just, you get donated things, but then where do you put it? You don't have anywhere to go.
Yeah.
So,
That's a good point.
heartbreaks.
Point.
Yeah. Really heartbreaking.
Is absolutely amazing, right? I mean, I've been in a situation just from our family where we've been asked to evacuate the house, and it is one of those where you think, okay, this time could come. What is everything you grab? Everyone's played the game in their mind. What do you grab? But as much as you might have everything in order, thinking all the important papers, when you have to start taking pictures off of the wall, man, it's tough.
Yeah.
When you realize, we probably aren't coming back. It's we were lucky enough we were able to come back, but that's when the tears start rolling down your face of going, this is, our family, these are memories, and I can't believe it that we're taking pictures off the wall and we're leaving this house. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I feel so bad for everyone affected.
So bad. And it's all of this loss, emotional, physical, all this loss, and then have no comfort to go home to.
Exactly.
There's no there's no retreat. There's no sanctuary at the end of the day because your home is your sanctuary and it's gone. So yeah, mostly it's just things, but all of this on top of each other, just heartbreaking and devastating. And and it looks like that the Palisades fire could have been arson. They're really investigating that, and that would just be, you know, that I can't even go there yet with that. So
Yeah.
that's horrible.
No, obviously, one of the most beautiful areas of Los Angeles. Just devastating. So again, obviously with the show, our thoughts are with everybody. At the same time, hopefully the show helps people out where, whether they're listening and they're trying to figure out what they're doing next, or just something to get away from the thoughts and their brain just going to one place and it's only bad. It's awful. It's been absolutely terrible the last 10 days or so in Los Angeles.
Yep. Yes, really bad. So should we do have a guest today, but we are waiting on that guest, just to let you guys know. So should we jump to a mailbag?
Well, I tell you what I wanted to ask you, are you watching anything? Because I'm caught up on everything.
Okay.
So I'm like, I know you're in Big Bear. I know you had a chance to spend time with your girls, which is awesome. But is there any show in particular that you're watching? Because I'm like, all right, I'm all caught up on New York. Even I'm caught up on New York. I'm caught up on Beverly Hills. I'm Southern Charm. I've watched so much TV in a rush to say if Nicole's ready, I'm ready.
Okay. Well, yes, I have watched it all. I'm also caught up on it all, and I also am very much into the TLC shows.
Yeah.
So I'm watching Last Resort, which is a franchise of the 90 Day, and so I'm all caught up on that. There's a new show out, Balin. So she is a young lady with Tourette syndrome, and she's
Yeah.
become like a TikTok sensation. So the first episode of that show aired, which I thoroughly enjoyed, and it's funny, but it's also heartbreaking, and it's all of those things. So so far it was a great episode. So I feel like New York was as boring as ever.
Oh my God.
It
Yeah.
never ends. It's just
It's okay. Is there any talk at all about they're going to dump this cast? Like this is it?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know these things. I think they wait until after the reunion. I don't know. I'm really like, where's Jersey?
Right.
Get
I
New York
mean,
out of here. Bring Jersey in. What's going on?
we've seen major cities canceled. Like we've seen Dallas, we've seen Miami, we've seen, but New York is New York. Like you can't exactly cancel New York. You have to just try with the new cast. But this cast is ridiculous. I mean, there's nothing there. It's terrible. And
It's
when you're
terrible.
waiting for the highlight is you're waiting for Uba to lose her temper.
Yeah.
That's the highlight of the whole damn show. I mean,
Yeah.
and that's not even great. Like none of it is good. None of it is good. Like Andy has a complete disaster.
Yeah, that's a disaster. I watched Potomac. Potomac is great. Karen Huger and her DUI, and I don't know if you saw the footage, the police cam footage that came
I
out
did
of
it.
her the night of her DUI. She was sloshed. I mean, completely wasted. So bad to the point where I feel like I almost feel terrible for her, and I don't think police footage like that should be made public. Part of me is like, that's not cool that they released all of that. It's terrible. And I hope if nothing else, she was able to see herself in that state. And maybe that's gonna, flick a switch for her to do better.
I didn't see that part. So tell
Oh,
me, give me a little bit of background on her getting her DUI, because I'm one of those guys that, and I've been lucky enough. I haven't been affected as a family where a DUI has taken the life of someone I'm related to because someone who didn't think before they got behind the wheel. But in her situation, is I almost feel like I'm fine with it being made public. Put it that way. You know what I mean?
yeah. So which is a in case. I don't know. It's all very like it's like when you're going through something like that, and then now you're gonna have the public coming after
Yeah.
you. I think it's just a lot. So she was driving and on this windy road, which I don't think there was a lot of traffic, not defending this, and she hit a tree or something.
Okay.
Now it was one of these situations where she couldn't really talk about it, on the show
Yeah.
because she's going through legal proceedings, but they chose to have a trial. now, for anybody who doesn't know, if you have a trial, you're either going to win big or lose big. So they were obviously gambling on having a defense, some kind of, good defense. And the the body cam footage came out, and there's no defense.
Yeah.
She was drunk AF, and she was belligerent, and she was pulling a "Do you know who I am?"
Oof.
She was in a way resisting arrest. She not physically, but she was saying she was leaving. And she wasn't cognizant of what the fuck was going on.
Exactly.
This is the problem with alcohol.
Yeah.
It just impairs your judgment so bad. And so she hasn't been able to talk about it on the show. It's sort of been, well, I'm going to clear my name. And then this footage came out, and sorry, lady, there's no clearing your name. This is a shit show. So, yeah, it's,
Wow.
doesn't look good for her. Doesn't look good. And she was found guilty and checked herself into rehab and is awaiting sentencing. So that's where we're at on that. But there's lots of other stuff going on that
Yeah.
show as well. And so I really find it interesting. I love that show. And I love Salt Lake.
Yep.
The new girl is awkward AF. She got caught trying to secretly record conversations going on and arguments going on in their Sprinter van, which all the women felt very betrayed by, because if you don't watch the show, last season, a girl was brought in and who was part of the group, who turned out to actually be somebody behind a troll account that was tearing these ladies apart. And it was this like troll gossip about the Salt Lake housewives in particular, was dishing all their dirty laundry, was talking terrible about them. And this woman somehow got into the cast. And so everybody felt very betrayed, and it was just a disaster. So for her to come in and be the new person and then get caught recording them arguing, was not good.
All right, I got to ask you, what did you think at that moment? Like, she's not the brightest person going, right? I mean, we understand.
Right.
Did you think her excuse at all was going to hold up, like she was going to survive? Or did you think those girls jumped on her like, like basically a piece of meat surrounded in a pool of piranha? I mean, that fan changed so fast, and the hate was insane. Not saying they weren't right. I mean, they all lived it a year ago, like you just said. But holy cow, man, when she started crying in the Sprinter van, and she kind of wanted off and needed to catch her breath, and she's hyperventilating.
Yeah.
I don't even know what you do. Like, if I'm her, I'm like, all right, do I quit the show right now? I mean, because they want to literally kill you with their bare hands.
They
They are
were
so
eating her
angry at
alive.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they were
they want to
eating
eat
her
her
alive.
alive.
But, you just don't do that as a new person. That's just not you just don't do that as a friend in general. I
Ever.
mean, it's just all very
Ever.
weird. Yeah. So, and then, another woman in the cast thought that possibly her room was Meredith thought that this new girl, Brittany, had put in a bug in her room, a listening device. So it all became they all became over paranoid and suspicious of her. So that's I don't see her lasting another season.
Nah, there's nothing there. Outside of the fact that she sleeps with an Osmond, there's nothing about her. She brings nothing. She's
Nothing.
boring as hell.
She's boring and
Dumb.
dense. I don't mean to be mean, but she's dense. She's one of these people that talks about her problem over and over. It's the same damn problem, but she keeps repeating it. It's like this broken record. Nobody likes that. Like, you're a grown up. Put your big girl pants on and fix your problems. So I'm over it. And
Are you disappointed to hear that show that has one more show left? I mean, that's it. And then they're going into the reading. Like, it felt like the season went fast.
it did go fast, but that means it's a good season.
Exactly right.
Yeah. So I'm always excited for the reunions. The reunions are amazing. And
are you surprised that show has done as well as it has, for the fact you lost a main character to prison? You had a girl last year who is obviously off the show because she was, a mole. and then the show continues to roll, you know?
I mean, with all due respect, Salt Lake City, you're a beautiful place, but it's filled with kooky people. Now, I am not saying that everybody from Salt Lake City is kooky. I am not
No,
saying
I
that.
know.
But what I am saying is that there are plenty to choose from. That's
Yes.
all. That's why you have Selling Salt Lake City, a new show full of more kooky people, and it's doing well. So, and if you're watching 90 Day Last Resort, let me just say, Natalie is so scary. I'm scared of her. I get scared in my own home watching her on TV. And her obsession with this guy, Josh, who looks like he was put to bed wet and he's coming down off a bender every single day. He looks like he's coming down off a bender constantly. Like he could take 3-hour shower. He still looks dirty. And is obviously just with Natalie to be on the show, which, listen, hey, you can't blame somebody for trying, but she's still obsessed with him. And, it's a great show. I love that show. I hope Julia and her husband make it. And of course, I love Stacy from Stacy and Darcy, the twins.
Yeah.
She's on it with her husband. I hope they make it. I love them. I love those twins. So many good shows right now. So many
There
good
are.
shows, so many good movies. Have you seen Amelia Perez, the
No, I
musical?
haven't. No.
So good. Highly recommend it. Also, you know what? I saw Wicked. Have you
What
seen
do you think?
Wicked?
I did not. I'm sorry. I
Okay.
did not. I
So
saw the
good.
Bob Dylan movie, believe it or not.
Oh,
That's the only
and
one I
that's
went to.
amazing too, right?
The acting was impressive. I'm always impressed when what I think is good acting. So I'm always curious to know, what do you think when you when you see good acting? Does it stand out to you?
Timothy Chalamet can do no wrong in my eyes. He's
Yeah.
magical. I just absolutely adore that guy. Everything he's been in. I fell in love with him in Willy Wonka because I
Oh
didn't
yeah.
think very many people could nail the character like he did. Because I'm old school. Willy Wonka
Yeah.
for me is not Johnny Depp.
It's
It's
Gene Wilder.
Gene. Yeah,
Yeah.
like, come on. So I thought that Timothy was able to capture that Gene Wilder vibe and flavor, and I believed him as a young Gene Wilder. So I thought it was spot on. And Wicked, oh my God, the chills brought all the chills. My kid was making fun of me. She was laughing, but me and my older one, we were sitting there in chills. I mean, it is so good. It's just,
Really?
yeah. And I was a huge Wizard of Oz fan when I was a
Me
kid.
too.
So that was, one of my top movies. And it brings it. It really
Yeah.
is. Yeah. What a beautiful movie. So if you haven't seen those, go see them.
Oh, good deal. Good deal. Sounds like you had a great time with having both girls in town at the same time. Like, I
Of
mean, what was it
course.
like for you? Is just saying, all right, this feels like balance. This feels like what the scale's supposed to feel like, where I've balance in my life.
It feels like I've got my eyes on both of them at the same time. It
Yeah.
just feels like you breathe differently. You just physically breathe
Yeah.
differently. But the three of us together are trouble. We went to a body piercing place and we all got pierced.
Did he really?
Yeah. And
No
it's
way.
funny. Yeah, it's funny because I was sitting there, and so through my cancer journey, my body has been oversensitive to everything. So I would have never, a couple of months ago, you would have never got me near a needle, because if you even just kind of touched me too hard, it was
Yeah.
painful. And my recovery has been very, very slow. Any kind of, if I get a scratch, it takes, a month and a half to heal.
Yeah.
So, it was kind of a big deal for me to say, okay, I'm going to try this. And I did it. I got a piercing right here in my cartilage.
Nice. Okay? Did that hurt right there compared to down here?
Well, um, it hurts a little. No, I mean, listen, they hurt for a minute. They hurt.
Yeah.
But like I said, I was scared because I've been so oversensitive. And, so I just went ahead and did it, and it's healing fine. Like, it's not all inflamed and feeling terrible, which a few months ago I wouldn't have been able to do this. So it's kind of a testament to how my body is coming along. So it was double exciting for me,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is cool. Everyone get one up here too?
Yeah,
Same spot? Oh,
every
they all
the
did the
other
same
girls
spot.
the 2 girls got one up here. I got mine a little bit lower because I've already been there, done that up there. Um,
That's
so
funny.
yeah. Yeah, we're
I
trouble together.
remember
We do things like that.
when I was in high school, around the time that, as people say, I was stalking you. I went to the mall in the valley, and I got my left ear pierced. And at the time, I was living. I've told you, but I moved away from home when I was 15. I was living with my grandmother, and I knew she wasn't going to be okay with it. But I called her from the mall. Hey, is it okay if I get my ear pierced? And she just didn't like say no or yes, but she preferred I didn't. But of course, I did it.
Uh-huh.
And I go home and we're eating dinner, and she goes, so she's sitting to my right. I'm so happy you decided not to do it. And I was like, what are you talking about? It's right there. and for me, it was such a big deal though, to do something outside the norm for me. And it's still there. I haven't worn an earring in 30 something years, but it goes right in. The hole never closed. So, but it's so
Yeah,
funny. It was my rebellious stage of getting
an
something
ear
on my
piercing.
body. Yeah.
Listen, I am so fine with the, piercings. My oldest, every time I see her, she has a new huge tattoo.
Yeah.
So, that one I've learned to get over. This time, her one about this big on her thigh. Um, and then when she walked away, I could see that it was all down the back of her legs now. So
Oh,
I am at a place where the arms and the legs are pretty much, there's more tattoos than there is bare skin at this point. So I've had to cross over. I've had to cross over. There's no more talking her out of this. There's no more slow down,
yeah.
stop. She is who she is, and she's she's adorable, and I accept her the way she is and what she wants to do. And there we are. So anybody who has kids that has tattoos, you know what I'm talking about. The first one, you're like, no, you weren't supposed to do that. I thought I taught you better than that. And then after it just keeps going and you realize you have absolutely no say
No control.
whatsoever in it, you have to just appreciate what their style. That's it. It's their body.
Exactly.
So our guest today, we've got a great guest. He is also a Baywatch alum who I adore, and he has such a great, unique experience from Baywatch, and he is here to tell us all about it. So let me welcome Mr. Jaason Simmons.
Hello,
Hey,
Nicole. How are you, sweetheart?
I'm fabulous. How are you?
I'm good, good. How you been doing for the last week? Everything okay out
You know,
there?
we are very fortunate. We're the only thing I can complain about is the air quality. So
Yeah,
I will digress. It's
yeah.
it's just heartbreaking emotionally.
hmm
It's just so sad. How are you?
We were okay. We actually were out of town and came back a day early. So by the time we woke up, it was on. I was having people from Australia call me before I knew. They was sending me love hearts and stuff. And my family and friends don't do that to me very often. So I thought maybe something, turn on the TV, and it was like, it was on. And uh, not to compare it to anything that's happened. Well, my house burned down when I was in 2000, just after I finished Baywatch. And that was devastating. It takes so long to get over that. It is emotion, all the stages of grief. Um, but being here, I don't think people understand how big Los Angeles is. It's not just where I'm living; it's where all the studios are and stuff. It's like, it's working. It's all the crew, all the people that make their livelihood month to month people, and so had to turn the TV off just for a little bit, just so I could process the safety of my partner and my animals. And I got stuff packed by the door. But when they sent out the two, false
Yeah.
evacuation orders during the first 2 nights,
Yeah.
because of what happened to me earlier in my life, I think it was I didn't sleep for like 60 hours just because I could see, because we faced west, so we could see which fire was coming up. And I woke up at 1, and then there were 7, and to me, it just brought up a lot of stuff. And you know what? And I still wasn't prepared. I still was not prepared, even after it has happened to me. So that night, I got prepared for the next 60 hours. just, you know.
Yeah, I did not appreciate those false alarms. For anybody who does not know, there were 2 accidental evacuate now alerts sent out. I was outside changing a tire on my daughter's bike and I saw it and I just froze and I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God. And I would imagine that would bring up so much that would be like PTSD for you because that's
Yeah.
not, it was a heart stopping moment when that went off. And, you know, I had to run upstairs to find out that, okay, it was a false alarm. Thank
Right.
God.
Yeah.
But, and then another one, you know, at 4:00 in the morning, I got
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Not okay.
Mm-hmm.
Very,
And
very
yeah,
scary.
because the other thing, our internet was down, except I could still get alerts through the phone. So luckily that happened. But you know, we just got back from a trip, so I hadn't got our kids, our furry kids, medication together. I hadn't got our livelihood together. So luckily, after doing the project I did for you, I went through a bunch of my history that I hadn't looked at for 30 years. So thanks to you guys, a lot of it got scanned and a lot of it got saved. But you know, it's like, what do you take? And the only way you can do that is by packing a bag, putting it by the door. Which, if you know men don't do that, because even though I'm gay, I do procrastinate. You know what I mean? So it's like it takes me a bit to like get motivated, but I'd rather get better at it next time. That it doesn't have to be a crisis. But I was disappointed, but I haven't stayed up for 60 hours since I was 24, and I think that was with you. I'm just kidding. But it's like, you know, I didn't need any. I was just like wired for 60 hours, and I had to be talked to sleep because the fire. I used to live on Mulholland, so I could see the fire coming down the hill. So I know everybody up there, and luckily that fire stopped pretty
Did he
quickly
got
because
that?
they could drop water. But out the other places with no water dropping, you know where it is, and it's not an easy place to get to. Going to work where we worked, I would leave at 4 in the morning and stuff. It's everything is not
Yeah.
that close together. So I had to turn it off for a bit and just check in with Alexandra, check in with you, check in with people that I know, and we have a discussion because we know the topography of the place. So I'm trying to explain to my family and friends that we're okay, but after things flying into Hollywood, that's I don't think I've been here 30 years in Hollywood, and I've never had a flame go over there, you know, and like an ember start a fire somewhere. So it's a wake up call, but we'll get these the rest of our lives. Unfortunately, it's happening in Australia too. It's happening in Europe. All the koalas that got burnt, all the animals that got burnt last year in Australia.
Yeah, that was
It
devastating.
is a huge problem, and I'm not. I really hope people can get back to their houses, which I know a lot of them can't get back because they can't afford to.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that collectively, eventually, we can change the policy and how to protect the environment and us
Yeah.
when things like this happen better and faster. You
Yeah.
know?
And maybe not have our mayor in in another country at cocktail parties. I mean,
Right.
boy, did she just cut her career short.
I've not even got into that section yet. I heard a couple of things, and I just thought it's not about you, mother. I won't swear.
You can swear.
It's
You can say whatever you want.
it's not about you, your job, whatever. Thank you for draining the swamp. We needed the all the water taken out of those some of the reserves so they could get repaired. But one of them was like 11 years ago. You're telling me it takes 11 years to repair? Oh, I don't know. I've never fucking done it. But like, you know, it's like, but the fires last year and the year before, weren't there signs that something's coming? And with other things in life, like don't stop smoking until you have a chance at the end of your life that you can't stop smoking and you've got to, you know, a tube down your throat, or not just have anything. I'm listening to a good audio book. I'll send it to you. It's helping me a lot in the last week. So just to be calm but vigilant and prepared. And I've got my family's back, and I know now where to go. The thing is, we just sold our car, so I'm like, okay, we're going to evacuate, dude. But where the fuck do we go? Like, do we go to the pool around the corner? Do we like? So that's our next step. Like, you know, that's why we live in Hollywood, so we can just like get around, do all this sort of stuff. So that's my next thing I need to look up today. Not that I think we need it, but I didn't think we needed that before either. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, the area I'm in, it was just surrounded by fires. There was only
Mhm.
one. I was only going to have one highway out, and I thought to myself, and what is that highway going to look like? It's going to be a parking lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's devastating.
And I
Scary.
don't want to mingle like everybody's working so hard, so much harder than me to take care of it, and I don't want to go into the blame game yet because we're not done yet. But there's a couple of things I'm starting to like, you know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
put words to my thoughts so I can put it out correctly. Um, but I'm from Australia. We can't even put trees around our houses because for fire hazards, you get fined. Like there are things you can't do. You've got to have your house fireproof. But that many houses with that much wind in 90 minutes, I don't care where the fuck you are. It's like how much water you got? 90 minutes.
Yeah.
It may
It's
have helped a bit, but it wouldn't have stopped what happened those 3 days where they couldn't drop water. Here they dropped water, so much water, and it's pink. Who would have thought? Pink,
yeah.
pink. Like, so you know what? We're doing our part, gay people. Pink powder. You know what I mean? It's like, why
Everywhere.
not make it red or blue? Because pink is more powerful and it gets everything calmer. I'm
Yes.
waking up, as you can tell. But I'm very blessed, and I'm so happy that I got to work with you to reevaluate my. I never looked at any of my episodes. I've never.
Oh,
I saw if somebody would send me a clip because um, I just could. It was too close. What happened to me afterwards was too close to have to want to go back to that because it was too entwined. But I looked and I go, and then I was talking to Yasmin the other day, and she goes, "You were so fucking pretty. I was so pissed." Like she'd look at me, and go, "Oh my god, you're so pretty." But I didn't think that was, but it's funny that I didn't want to confront my press either for 30 years, and you guys made me. It wasn't. It wasn't bad. You know what I mean? Like, so why not get something ready for my apartment? Why not, let's get a fire extinguisher. We're located right outside the building and start putting things in action. So whatever happens in our lives, we're prepared with the stuff that means the most to us.
yes. Yes, and what we did, Dave, on Baywatch is that we asked everybody for like personal pictures and
Yeah.
video, home video, and all of that. And whatever they sent us, we sent it back, but we also sent it digitized.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool.
And you know how expensive that is for an actor to do? Like, it's so expensive to get that stuff done, so we never do.
Yeah,
I've lost about a quarter of mine, I think, over the years.
yeah, it's
You know.
yeah. So that was a great thing to get everything onto one little drive, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
And
so
family
positive
photos
thing.
too. Family photos, your family's history photos, like get stuff logged in, and
Yeah,
and just start with the list you want to have in your apartment and the list of stuff you can live without if necessary. And just for me, it's getting off my ass and doing it. But that's also with everybody, checking in with my family. They were calling me before I knew what was going on. So I thought everybody was just being sweet, like Happy New Year, da, 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 like and then they kept calling 24 hours straight. So I don't watch a lot of TV, but then I turned it on and I understood why they were talking the way they were talking because it was like Armageddon. But this was not that
yeah.
Wednesday. This was a Tuesday. How you doing, mate? I haven't said hello to you yet.
Well, I'm doing fine. Thank you very much.
You're good. How
Thank
you
you.
doing for the last week? All right. Are you in California?
I'm in San Diego. I'm from Los
Oh, cool.
Angeles. I know all the areas, but I'm in San
Yeah.
Diego. I was telling Nicole earlier in the show that we were hit by the same thing not long ago,
I
and
see.
there's
Yeah, I
nothing
remember.
worse when they're telling you, "Hey, you got to evacuate," and you start pulling the pictures off the wall, and it's devastating. It's devastating for anybody, for a family of what's next. Just this is scariness
Exactly.
of thinking I did everything I was supposed to do, and now I'm about to lose everything. So it's awful.
Yeah.
It's awful. I'm glad that you're doing okay. What upset me also is seeing the elderly being pushed out into the street with
Oh
nowhere to
yeah.
go. Like
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
people think that Palisades are so rich and all this stuff, and like people that have lived there for a while, sure, but there are people that live out there that are on lower income that
Exactly.
have,
Yes.
their hospices there, their rehabilitation centers there, not just for actors, but for regular people. Caravan
Yeah.
parks that burnt down 2018, was it, or 2000 and a while ago? Well, that's gone again. It was 400 last time and 800 this time. It's like I just wish people could see the people that live here are not the people that you see on television.
No, there's
Like most of those
generational
people live
families and
overseas and they
homes.
come in and they fly out again. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that the hate that people are posting towards
Mm,
the Palisades in California in general is really uneducated, honestly. Well,
right,
Very
anybody
much
that's
so.
gonna just spew hate is really not the
right.
brightest bulb.
No,
So
because
let's start there.
yeah.
But yeah,
I mean, like, what are they going to do about? Are they pissed off at all the koalas in Australia that died because they didn't fertilize their gum trees properly? Like, you know what I mean? It's like get on it, educate yourself, do something about it, help us out. It's not just us; the whole world is like this. I'm from Tasmania, so in and I started at when I was 14 doing hair. And so when I started, we had to ban the CFCs in the hairspray, all the hairspray people loved in the 80s, rockers and stuff, because the ozone layer was forming above our heads. So everything that was happening in the northern hemisphere was coming down to us. And like, I would get burnt in 70 degrees, 69 degrees, because there's no UV filter or not much. It's getting better now, but that was
yeah,
1984, and then it was fully banned in '86. And then another topic, really quickly. There was a massacre in Tasmania that my family, in an area that my family lived. And as soon as that massacre happened, guns were banned in Australia within 48 hours or whatever. And it's been like nobody complained.
right.
You know what I mean? It's like, but now you can have a gun. I guess my stepfather's got a gun in his safe with a code. Trust me, I try to break it. And and the police have to come around and check on you spontaneously, and say, "Sure, it's in the safe." So you get drop-bys. So it's like there are ways of doing things that will help other people that aren't as fortunate as us that don't think about this stuff.
Yeah,
You know.
absolutely. So then that brings me to a question, Jason. Why raise kids here? Why stay here when that's home, where they're much more sensible?
Well, that's why a lot of my actor friends in the 90s moved home. You know, all the straight ones that wanted to go back and have kids went back and had kids. They could have stayed here. Luckily, I was in a relationship at the time, but he was here. But it's a great place to raise kids. But it's a great place to. I was there last year with my sister. I couldn't breathe because the air was so fresh. I was getting too much less chemicals. It was ridiculous. It was like I had too much breath. It was
Too much
I didn't even
oxygen
need.
to the
Yeah,
brain.
exactly. And it's like because we started 30, 40 years ago to start to help our environment, but fires happened down there as well because of the rain, lack of rain and stuff. So I just hope everybody stops and listens after this is done and helping everybody to how they can put their life insurance, which doesn't have to be written down. Life insurance could be putting it back by your front door.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. It's
was that the question?
well, yes and no. So
Yes
let's
and no.
talk about why you moved here then. So let's walk us through so you were into acting, and Australia's got quite the industry and they do a lot of quality
Mm-hmm.
um productions. So
No,
what
exactly.
brought you to Los Angeles and how did you get to Baywatch?
Well, I saw this girl on TV on a show called Charles in Charge, and I thought, you know what? I'm gonna go meet her. I don't want to sleep with her, but I'm gonna go meet with her. I know. Okay. So long story short, I never seen the documentary or not, but my father died when I was 7. So the first 7 years of my life was dealing with that. I was a hybrid, not hybrid. No, I was like a hermit, like introvert. Is the most expressive way I could say that I would be. So I started learning acting, how to communicate with people, to look at them and just say hello. You know what I mean? I wanted to act, but not be on TV. I just wanted to like act as a thing. So I came here to study with Sanford Meisner at the end of his life.
Okay.
Halfway through that, I went home and booked a show in Australia. Showed for 2 months, came back to move back to Australia, and then the day before walked into the producers and then ended up with you guys, basically.
Wow. So,
Mm.
and then, wow. Yeah. And so then you stayed here. I just, I love Australia. I really do. So, y- do you feel, I know you go back a lot, right? You go
Yeah,
back
yeah.
there
I'm
quite a
going
bit.
back
Yeah.
next month. Yeah, yeah. But when I came here in 1990, there was Nicole Kidman, maybe Julian McMahon, but maybe I was here before him. Myself and one other Australian. It's not like it is. It was like we couldn't walk into an office with our accent. We had to walk in as Americans. You know how it was. It's like, and now it's like I don't even bother with that. Like you can do an accent. It's like part of our job. But
Yeah.
they had to be convinced that you could keep it up 24/7 and all that sort of stuff. So I studied, ended up on your show, and I wanted to know what it was like. And then, like, I like to act to figure out what's it like to be somebody in an imaginary circumstance, like, because I'm not going to go and kill somebody, but
Right.
I will on camera. That it feels like that. Okay, what does it feel like to play a male chauvinistic pig? Oh, Logan, Baywatch. Let's check that out. You know what? Had a bit of fun. It's not my cup of tea, guys. You need to pick it up a bit. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
I know I was the lovable rogue, but Yasmin and I had such a beautiful relationship. And when I split us up, it's like I stopped enjoying going to work. Like, what was the point if you're not connecting with? I don't need to kiss a woman that I can't get to her mouth because I can't reach her lips, and it wasn't because of my chest. You know what I mean? And it's like, great. But to all the boys that beat me up when I was younger, like very badly, if you had
Yeah.
stayed my friend and been cool to me, you know how much I could have helped you if you were a good person. So don't mess with the gay guys, dude, because we are your gateway to our beautiful women friends.
1000%.
Hmm.
Yeah. Take notes, fellas. That is
Exactly.
right.
And it's like, I felt like I was protecting you guys the whole time. Like, of course, we had so many paparazzi and stuff, but it didn't stop there. We were stalked the whole time during that tabloid period of Jerry Springer. But we were headhunted for the bounty, not for people to say hello. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Hmm.
For that, and it just got a bit scary for me. And I'm like, fuck this. I went back to drama school and then went to London and worked over there. And now Australia's kicking. I've got a couple of things in Australia. I've been to do a play and maybe this little movie thing. We'll find out when I get back in February.
Oh,
I just need to be closer to my family because I haven't seen them. I saw them last year, but I'm from Tasmania, which is probably the furthest you can get from here a little bit. So it's a little bit harder for me to get home if somebody's sick or I can't look after
sure.
my mom or stuff. And my partner Brian, he's a musician. Our pups are old enough to travel, so we just want to be hippies for a year and like take work, do stuff, write stuff. But going home for a while is a definite. But we'll keep our place here and just see what happens. But I need to do some art that I'm not afraid to fail at. You know what I mean? Like because only through the queer art of failing, which is this great book. I used to do that all the time, and then I started playing it safe, and it started getting boring to me. So I'm going to start doing stuff that I want to. It's either go to therapy or do a play with the same theme. I'd rather do a play.
Yeah.
So that's going to be my next approach. And then see my mom and make them scones and look after them and my sister and stuff like that. But,
Oh, I
I'll be
love
back.
that.
But I'm so glad to see everybody for the last. I'm so glad I was here when the whole reunion happened. It was surreal.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Confronting, very confronting at some points, but real.
Yeah, it really was. And for people that don't know, Jaason, back then people were not so open-minded. So Jaason was gay, but not openly gay. And the paparazzi were nonstop trying to catch him so that they could break the story. That was back when people would out people, like terrible. And if you've seen the documentary, we even have footage where paparazzi were caught saying, let's wait, let's catch him, making out with a dude and like talking derogatory. It wasn't nice. It wasn't as nice as I just said it. It was gross. And that's what he had to deal with. So this was not, they're following me and there's good intentions. They were following with, really sinister, intent behind it. So that was really a lot on top of carrying this around, and not feeling so comfortable to just be open
Right.
about
But
your
also,
sexuality.
that was my first major relationship and my partner's first major relationship. So we didn't have time. Like we needed time to figure this out. But I lived in the Granville, behind where Virgin Megastore used to be on Sunset and Crescent Heights. So my publicist would come over, open the window. There's somebody in the car. She would flash them. Not Cheryl Lynch. It wasn't Cheryl. Hi, Cheryl.
Cheryl.
Wasn't Cheryl. It was my British publicist.
Shout out to Cheryl Lynch. We love her.
But I didn't tell anybody because I didn't want my parents to. I didn't want anybody to worry about me, because if you have a parent that dies, you don't want to be a burden to anybody or say anything. And as a kid, that sticks with you like your whole life. So I wanted to see if I could deal with it, but it became so unsafe. And I'm like, I didn't even. I'm meant to be studying theater. Trust me, doing Baywatch on the beach was theater because we were roped off at the size of half a stage, maybe, with an audience around doing Shakespeare on the beach. But it was like the training for me was like, if this is what I'm aiming to do, it's not for me unless I go back to what I want to do and then re-enter. And nobody can, because my father was born in Austria, Jewish, and went to Australia. He never spoke to me about what happened. I don't want to do that to my family. Like, I want them to know what happened. I'm not going to show them everything, but I want them to know I'm okay. But this is why I had to go away and hibernate for a while. You know what I mean? It was
yes,
but
yes.
I didn't want to worry them. So I'm looking forward to going home. But Australia, I used to go home all the time. Like we work back and forth all the time in Australia, and I want to get back to that. But doing art that I want to either be great at or fail at. I'm so fucking over this. Like, if people say, "Oh, you've done some shit movies" or whatever it is, I go, you know what? You should be thankful for all the shit movies I didn't take, you motherfucker. You know what I mean? That's like I'm saving you. So like they don't understand how much stuff we get that we don't do. You know what I mean? So it's like they should be thanking us for limiting that. And I don't think people understand our industry. We're working people. We're not celebrities. Working people. People thought on Baywatch I earned $1 million.
Right. They don't understand that when this is your industry.
0.5, which I didn't mind because I was there to see what it was like to be a straight man. I wanted to see what it's all about. Is it interesting?
Was it?
Well, I really liked helping you guys out. Like I'd help Yasmin with her makeup in the cabin. Like if they thought somebody was onto me, you guys were on that. There was protection both ways. You know what I mean? Protection my way to them and your guys' way to me. So I felt safe. Some of the people weren't as much like that, but they weren't the cast. So that's
because they like it. There's certain people who rename nameless. That would only make the show get more press. So therefore, they're not looking to protect anybody from anything. And
exactly.
That was unfortunate.
I was just after a little bit of like a little bit of protection, just to give me a little bit. It's not Pam's Pam wasn't the only blonde bombshell on the show at that time. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
was blonde. I was a dude. Like I
Yeah.
was getting like as much not as much of a bounty as her, but like at that time, if you got a picture of us and some of my friends, it happened to them, they stopped acting, and I'm heartbroken because they've been acting for 20 years. Like fuck you. It's like, but one more thing. Some of the people that said those things in the documentary contacted me, which I'll
Okay.
talk to you about at a different point because I acknowledge them. I will speak to them. I'm not quite ready. Like I need to process what I'm going to do yet. But those people were accountable and did apologize. Some of them.
I love hearing that.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I've had some full circle moments myself with some of those same people. So, yeah, I think that a lot of good came from this documentary,
Yeah.
and
Amazingly good. Like amazing. It was amazing. It was like I wasn't planning on talking about that, but at my age and at this point, my brain needs to think about other stuff. My brain's full with that stuff.
yeah,
Like I need to like start again. I act because I have a huge imagination because my father died when I was young. So my brain can do amazing things like kiss women and do all this stuff. Like you know what I mean? So like I'm an actor. I'm not going to stop acting because people were trying to exploit. Not just
that's right.
exploit, but make money up. And we're not talking about 50 grand a photo here. We're talking a lot of money a photo.
Yeah,
But I didn't know whether those people were paparazzi or fans or stalkers. And I had all three at once for the 3 years that I was there. And I was in therapy twice a week. Yet Alexander was taking me to therapy from set. So all of a sudden, we're having an affair in the paparazzi. But I just slapped her on the bum, and I'm like, okay, you want to do that? Let's do that. Alexander, come and kiss me. Like, so we didn't start that shit. You know what I
yeah,
mean? I wasn't
uh-huh.
saying I was straight. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It was funny.
yeah. Well, you know
No,
what? That's the
yeah.
definition of successful, Jason. I have to tell you that because through it all, you stay positive, you stay true to who you are, you don't let it detour you, and that's
Too much. Too much.
right, too much. I mean, you're human, but
Yeah.
you know, and to be able, excuse me, to be able to play into it a little bit and have a little fun with it like that,
It
and
just
keep
pissed
on
me
your
off,
path.
you know? It pissed me off. So if you want to sell a story, sell this. You know what I mean? Like, what, like,
Yeah,
because
throw them
every
off
time I
the
went to
scent.
Ralph's, there we were on the front of that. What was that magazine? The
Oh,
tabloid
the
magazine.
Inquirer, the
All
Sun,
three
you
of
know,
them, all
all
three of them, all at once
yeah,
at the cash register. Every time I was going home, I'm like, okay, like I said, you guys just perjured yourself by printing that and doing a photo of me kissing Alexandra. I was saying goodbye to her. Most people don't pat their girlfriends on the bum to say goodbye, but you know what? I can because I am gay.
right. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. And this is, you know, that's the beauty of it. And I'm so glad times are changed and are different,
Changing, yes.
you
Yeah.
know, changing, yes, forever changing, but we are in a much
Mm.
better place. We're not there yet, but we're in a better place.
Yes.
So let's keep on that path.
Mm.
And so thank you so much for sharing with us. And I want you to continue to stay safe and good
Yes.
luck with the play and this movie. Hopefully
Thank
that
you.
I will keep you in my thoughts and sending you all the good juju for that.
Thank you. Can
And
I just ask you one quick question?
yeah,
How are you? How are you?
health wise, I'm
Yes.
doing well. I
Yeah.
finished 20 rounds of radiation right before the new year. And you know,
Okay.
it kicked my butt a little bit, but I'm back on track. I'm recovered from that. I'm feeling really good. And now on Friday I start meeting with my doctors about more surgery,
Mm.
and I have that ahead of me, but
Mm.
I'll take the surgery over the treatments.
Mm. Mm. You know
um,
what? I told you years ago to cut your hair like this. I told
you,
you to go short years ago. It looks amazing.
thank
But
you.
if
You
you
know,
need
I just
anything,
cut it. I
if you
did.
need anything custom made, like special, like I've got ins with the best people in Hollywood. We'll make you something amazing if you
Oh,
need it. But
yes,
I'm
I
loving
do.
this. This
I
looks
need
really
that
great.
because I know that for roles they'll want me to have hair, but I literally just cut this again. It grew, and I said, okay,
Yeah.
do I grow it out or do I
Well, no, it's
keep
going
it
to
like
take you a
this?
couple of times. Cut it a couple of times because my auntie went through the same thing, and it'll
Yeah,
come
that
back
hair
even
is.
thicker. Yeah, but it looks so cute. You too,
Thank
man. You
you.
look great. I love your hat.
Thank you very much. It's in support of. There's an LA in there. There's a
Love
support
you,
in Los
Nicole.
Angeles right there.
Yeah. Good to see you.
You too,
Good to
love.
see you. Nice to meet you,
Talk to
Jason.
you soon. Okay. See ya.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye bye.
See ya.
It's very nice. Very
He's
nice.
so nice. Like you talk about PTSD, right? Yeah, I bet because
Yeah.
I'll tell you when we got these false alerts to evacuate, if I had like a moment of trauma from that, I can't imagine that somebody who's already been through it
Yeah.
felt because that's crazy. And yeah, in the documentary, you'll have to see how bad the paparazzi were to him.
Well, and it's funny when you mention, and in Los Angeles, California is obviously ahead of other states as far as accepting, right? And you and I are on the same page as where everybody deserves the right to a happy life. And
Yeah.
when you see some of the stuff that goes on outside of California, I lived in the South for 9 years. I saw it, I heard it, and it's unbelievable. It's even just in the fire situation. Like there are people who haven't been to California who don't like California because they think there's crazy stuff that happens in California, whatever it is. Like I'm watching, Senator Tommy Tuberville, and I'm like, do you have no idea what you're talking about? You have no idea. All the hate and the blame game gets so old. Like what happened in the days of lifting each other up and helping out? Like what's the point of basically, let's say if you're a mom and your daughter spills milk on the floor, you're just going to sit there and scream at her for 24 hours. You're going to take care of the problem.
Right.
You take care of the problem. We love to point fingers. We love to point fingers at anything different. It's so strange. One of the best compliments I got in the last year, Nicole, and my son asked me this question. Who was in town? Now he's not in town, much like your daughter went back home. And he said, the question was, what's the best compliment you've ever received? And I said, you know what? About a year and a half ago, a person reached out to me on Facebook who I grew up with from probably 5th grade through 9th grade when I lived in Tennessee. And we all knew he was gay. He didn't hide it. He was proud at the same time. I said to him as an adult, I said, just curious, how tough was it growing up gay in Tennessee in the South?
Ooh.
And he said, you know what? He goes, you and another friend of mine, he goes, you guys made it easy. And I was like, what do you mean? And he goes, you let me hang out with your group. Like you guys were considered, the cool kids, I want to say. It sounds, I'm not patting myself on the back, but we were athletes and we were popular. And he goes, you guys never made a deal out of it, ever.
Oh.
And he goes, because of that, I was accepted through high school. I didn't get beat up. I didn't get made fun of. And
crazy.
I never even thought about it, but I was thinking it for him, man, it must have been really tough. And
It's
he
a big
goes,
deal.
well, yeah,
That's
he goes,
life-changing stuff.
yeah. And now he's, he still lives in the South and he's true to who he is. Doesn't feel like he has to hide who he is. But it stinks, man. When you go, life's hard enough as it is. You and I both know. And to sit there and have to pretend you're something else or to hide from what you are or your core is, it stinks, man. It's terrible.
It is. It's awful. And kindness is so easy. And I've learned that like if I'm looking at somebody and I like something about them, I'll say it to complete strangers now. And
awesome.
you can change somebody's day. In your mind, you're looking at them and you're thinking, I really like their shirt, or God, they're a cute person.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But they might think you're looking at them and that might make them feel insecure and they don't know why you're looking at them. If you tell them and you spread kindness, it can change everything.
I'm with you 100%. There's that air getting to you. there's that fire air that's,
Oh my
I
God,
hate to say it.
excuse me.
You're going to
Yeah,
smell
it's
that
really
air and
tickling
feel
my
that for a
throat.
while. Yeah.
My eyes are watering and my throat is tickling. And you know what? It's because I turned the air off in my place, so it's not filtering right now.
Exactly.
And yeah, it's making me cough. Wow. So yes, spreading a little bit of kindness. and like when little kids are looking at me in line and they're dressed in some funny costume, I always say like, "Oh, I love your costume." It's so easy to do. And once you start doing it, it makes you feel good. They feel good. Like let's practice more of that. Let's just little things, saying hi, just smiling, start there. It's life changing. It's game
I'm with
changing.
you.
So,
I'm with you. I get this question asked all the time. Yeah, I was born in Los Angeles. As I said, lived in Tennessee, moved back to LA, and now I live in San Diego. People always ask me, what is home? And I said, you know what? Los Angeles, it still feels like home. And the reason it is almost exactly what you just said. I always felt like when I was in LA, you could be whatever you want, meaning you could have purple hair, you could dress a little, outlandish, but it felt like that was the least amount of judgment. As I said, the craziest thing I ever did was get an earring, that everybody had. I have a tattoo now on my arm, but in LA, it felt like nobody stared at you. Nobody gave you a hard time. You could be whatever you wanted to be. Whereas every other place I've ever gone, it feels like you're being judged. And
yeah,
I don't know. I still love LA, and that's why this week was incredibly hard to watch on TV, to the point I had to just turn the TV off. I couldn't take it anymore.
same,
You
same.
know?
And I live here. Yeah,
Yeah.
same. It's depressing, but yeah,
You know.
I mean, acceptance is just so big. And on the just one last thing to wrap this up on the gay factor, it's so interesting to me that people are judgmental against that, because why do you care, or why are you thinking about who I'm sleeping with?
Yeah. Why?
Like, what in the heck does that have to do with you?
Yeah.
And I think about that sometimes when people are like, are they gay or are they not? It's like, who cares? What do you care? What are you in their bedroom? It's
Yeah.
like counting people's money. Stay out of their bedroom. Stay
Yeah.
out.
It is very
Weirdo.
strange.
You're the weirdo,
Yeah.
right? Like, if you want to talk about it, you're the weirdo for wanting to
Yeah.
know. Okay. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
done with
I
that.
do love when anyone could drop the word weirdo. The word weirdo makes me laugh every time.
Yeah. Yep. If you're judging people off their sex, you're weird.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly. Exactly. You're
Mhm.
right. Exactly
Well,
right.
yeah, so it was a great show. I'm glad everybody's safe. And again, if you guys could donate anything, that's amazing. Perfectlytwistedpod@gmail.com. If you want to buy merch or not, or and you could give us a review, you could follow us, you could do all of these things that we appreciate so much. And we love you, and we will see you next time.